Be me, Virginia, 28 years old, working as a data analyst. Spend most of my free time reading feminist theory and analyzing the patriarchal structures that oppress women daily. Constantly notice how men interrupt women in meetings, mansplain simple concepts, and generally treat us like we're inferior. Coworkers always rolling their eyes when I point out microaggressions and systemic inequalities. They just don't understand how deep this rabbit hole goes. Decide one day to conduct my own little social experiment. Going to treat men with exaggerated politeness and respect for exactly 1 week. Hypothesis: they'll either become condescending jerks who think I'm weak, or they'll try to take advantage of my submissive behavior. This will prove once and for all how toxic masculinity operates when women aren't constantly on guard. Monday morning, start with the barista at the coffee shop near my office. Usual routine is to order quickly, avoid eye contact, pay, and leave. Today, I'm going to smile, make small talk, say please and thank you. Walk up to counter where this guy John works, probably early 30s, always seems tired. Good morning, how are you doing today? He looks genuinely surprised, then smiles back. Oh wow, good morning, I'm doing well, thank you for asking. The usual medium dark roast. Wait, he remembered my order? Yes, please, that would be wonderful. You have such a good memory. Well, you've been coming here for like 8 months now. I try to remember the regulars. How's your Monday treating you so far? Internally rolling my eyes, he's probably just trying to get a bigger tip. But continuing the experiment. It's going well, thank you. I hope your day goes smoothly too. He hands me the coffee with both hands, making sure our fingers don't accidentally touch. Thank you so much. And hey, I hope you have a really great week. You seem like you're in a good mood today. It's nice to see. Walking away confused. Where was the condescension? The immediate attempt to ask for my number? The assumption that I was flirting? Whatever. One interaction doesn't prove anything. Get to office. Elevator is crowded. Usually I just stare at my phone and ignore everyone. Today, going to acknowledge the men in the elevator. Good morning, everyone! Chorus of surprised but genuine good mornings back. Older guy named Robert from accounting starts holding the door even though it wasn't about to close. What floor, Virginia? 7th, please. Thank you so much. No problem at all. When we reach my floor, he gestures for me to exit first. Not in a ladies first patronizing way, but like he's genuinely just being courteous. Thank you, Robert. I hope you have a wonderful day. You too, Virginia. Really nice to chat with you. Sitting at my desk feeling slightly unsettled. They're probably just being fake nice. Men always have ulterior motives. Lunchtime, decide to go to the sandwich place down the street. Usually, order through the app to avoid interaction. Today, going to the counter and being aggressively pleasant to the male employees. Walk up to counter where this young guy Tyler is working, maybe 23 or 24. Hi there. How's your afternoon going? He brightens up immediately. Hey, it's going pretty good. Thanks for asking. What can I get started for you today? Could I please get the turkey club with Swiss? And thank you so much for asking. Absolutely. Want me to make that a combo with chips and a drink? That sounds perfect. Thank you. While he's making the sandwich, I continue the experiment. You guys always do such a nice job here. The sandwiches are consistently great. He actually blushes a little. Oh, wow. Thank you. That really means a lot. We try hard to make everything fresh. I've seen you come in before, but we've never really talked. I'm Tyler. Nice to officially meet you, Tyler. I'm Virginia. Cool name. Hey, I hope this isn't weird, but you seem like you're having a really good day. It's nice to see. He finishes the sandwich and rings me up. I'm expecting him to overcharge me or make some gross comment. That'll be $12.50. And hey, thanks for being so friendly. Most people are kind of rushed and stressed at lunch, so it's refreshing when someone's genuinely nice. Pay with card, leave a normal tip. He hands me the receipt with both hands. Thank you so much, Virginia. I hope the rest of your day is awesome. Eating my sandwich back at the office, feeling increasingly frustrated. Why aren't any of these men being jerks? Where's the toxic behavior I was expecting to document? Maybe I'm not being obvious enough about the experiment. Tuesday. Decide to be even more overtly nice and accommodating. Surely this will bring out their true colors. Coffee shop again. John is working. Good morning, John. You're looking well today. He seems genuinely touched that I remembered his name. Good morning. Virginia, thank you. That's really kind. You're looking pretty happy yourself. Same order? Yes, please, and thank you for remembering. While he makes the coffee, he starts talking. You know, I have to say, yesterday, you really brightened my morning. I was having kind of a rough start to the week, and just having a genuinely nice interaction with someone made a difference. Internally screaming. He's supposed to be getting weird and pushy by now, not being more thoughtful. I'm glad I could help in some small way. What was making your morning rough? Oh, just some personal stuff. My sister's been sick and I've been worried about her. But hey, thanks for asking. Most people wouldn't. He hands me the coffee and refuses to let me pay. This one's on me. You've been so kind lately. John, you don't have to do that. I want to. You've made my last couple days better just by being friendly. Let me return the favor. Walk away feeling even more confused and angry. This doesn't fit the pattern at all. Men are supposed to interpret kindness as weakness or sexual interest, not just appreciate it. At work, decide to test the theory with my male colleagues during our weekly team meeting. Usually I challenge every point they make and call out their privilege. Today going to be supportive and encouraging. Meeting starts. Project manager Jake is presenting quarterly results. Normally, I would interrupt to point out how the data reflects systemic biases. Instead, wait for him to finish and then speak up. Jake, that was really comprehensive. Thank you for breaking down the metrics so clearly. He looks shocked, then pleased. Thank you, Virginia. I actually value your analytical perspective a lot, so that means something coming from you. Colleague David starts talking about client retention strategies. Usually I would point out how his ideas perpetuate capitalist exploitation. Today I'm nodding and taking notes. David, that's an interesting approach. How do you think we could implement that with our current resource constraints? He turns to me with what looks like genuine respect. You know, Virginia, you always ask the right questions. Want to collaborate on this? I could really use your input. Meeting ends with 3 different male colleagues thanking me for my thoughtful contributions. Department head Martin stops me on the way out. Virginia, I don't know what's different lately, but your energy in meetings has been really positive. It's making the whole team dynamic better. Back at my desk, practically vibrating with frustration. This is completely backwards. They're supposed to be intimidated by my usual directness, not appreciative when I tone it down. Maybe they've always been condescending and I just didn't notice. Wednesday, escalating the experiment. Going to be almost submissively polite and see if that triggers their dominance instincts. Coffee shop. John again. Good morning, John. I hope I'm not bothering you, but could I please get my usual when you have a moment? He immediately stops what he's doing. Virginia, good morning. You're never bothering me. Actually, can I ask you something? Here it comes. Probably going to ask for my number or make some gross comment. Of course. What's up? I wanted to thank you again for being so kind this week. I know it might sound weird, but I've been going through a tough time with my sister's health situation, and having positive interactions at work has been helping me stay optimistic. You don't know me well, but you've been treating me with genuine respect, and it matters. Staring at him in complete bewilderment. That's really sweet of you to say, John. I hope this doesn't come across wrong, but I've noticed you seem different lately. More open, maybe? Whatever it is, it's nice. Some of my coworkers mentioned that you've been friendlier too, and we all appreciate it. He makes my coffee extra carefully, even drawing a little heart in the foam. This one's on me again. And Virginia, if you ever want to just chat about life stuff, I'm here. You seem like someone who has interesting thoughts about things. Leaving the coffee shop practically in shock. He's supposed to be getting creepy or demanding by now. Instead, he's being more respectful and offering emotional support. Decide to test this with strangers, people who don't know me. Go to the grocery store after work. Deliberately ask male employees for help with everything. Approach guy named Kevin in produce section, probably in his mid-40s. Excuse me, I'm so sorry to bother you. Could you help me pick out some good avocados? I'm not very good at telling when they're ripe. He immediately puts down what he's doing. Of course, no bother at all. So you want to check for firmness, but not too soft. Spends 5 minutes explaining avocado selection, shows me exactly what to look for. Here, Try feeling these few and see if you can tell the difference, guides me through the process patiently, never once talking down to me. You've got it. That's a perfect one. Anything else I can help you find today? Thank you so much, Kevin. You're incredibly helpful. My pleasure. That's what I'm here for. Hope you have a great evening. Move to deli counter. Ask the guy working there for recommendations. He spends 15 minutes walking me through different options, lets me sample 3 different cheeses. Never once acts like I'm stupid for not knowing the difference between aged cheddar varieties. Packages everything carefully and wishes me well. Checkout line, male cashier named Alex, probably college age. Did you find everything okay today? Yes, thank you. Everyone here has been so helpful. That's great to hear. We try to take good care of our customers. Bags my groceries carefully, puts heavy items on bottom, asks if I need help to my car. Thank you, Alex, but I can manage. You've been wonderful. No problem at all. Have a great night. Sitting in my car in the parking lot, feeling increasingly agitated. Every single man I've interacted with has been polite, helpful, and respectful. This can't be right. Maybe I'm not pushing hard enough. Thursday. Decide to really test the boundaries. Going to be almost annoyingly accommodating and see if they take advantage. Coffee shop. But this time I arrive right during the morning rush. John is clearly swamped. Line is out the door. Good morning, John. Please don't worry about me. I can wait as long as you need. He looks up, clearly stressed, but smiles when he sees me. Morning, Virginia. Thank you for being patient. Crazy busy today. Wait in line for 20 minutes. Finally get to counter. I'm so sorry for the wait. What can I get you? Please don't apologize. You're handling this rush amazingly well. Just my usual when you have a chance. He makes my drink, clearly rushing, but still takes care with it. Virginia, I really appreciate your patience. Most people get frustrated when we're this busy. You're working so hard it would be unreasonable to be frustrated with you. He hands me the coffee and starts to ring it up. You know what? This one's definitely on me. Thank you for being understanding. John, you don't need to. I insist. You've been consistently kind even when I'm stressed out. That's rare. Another customer behind me starts complaining about the wait. John politely explains they're understaffed today. Customer gets ruder, demands to speak to a manager. Without thinking, I turn around. Excuse me, but John has been working incredibly hard. Maybe show a little patience? Customer storms off. John looks at me with what appears to be genuine gratitude. Thank you for standing up for me. You didn't have to do that. Of course I did. You deserve to be treated with respect. He reaches across the counter and briefly touches my hand. Virginia, you're genuinely a good person. Thank you. Walking to work, mind. Racing. This is completely destroying my hypothesis. Men aren't taking advantage of my politeness. They're appreciating it and becoming more respectful. At office, decide to test this with the most problematic colleague I have. Steve from sales usually makes borderline inappropriate comments. Going to be extra accommodating and see if he gets weird. Knock on his office door. Hi, Steve. Do you have a few minutes? I wanted to get your input on something. He looks surprised. Virginia. Of course. Come in. What's up? Sit down across from his desk. I'm working on a client analysis, and I know you have great insights into customer behavior patterns. Could you look at this when you have time? Hand him the report, expecting him to make some comment about women needing men's help. Instead, he takes it seriously, flips through it carefully. This is really thorough work, Virginia. Your data analysis is always solid. Let me read through this properly and get back to you with detailed feedback. Thank you so much, Steve. I really value your perspective. And I value yours. Actually, can I ask you something? Here it comes. You seem different lately. More collaborative, I guess. It's nice. I've always thought you were smart and capable, but sometimes our interactions felt tense. This feels more natural. Staring at him in disbelief. Tense? How? Well, sometimes it seemed like you were expecting me to say something wrong, like you were waiting for me to mess up. It made me nervous to talk to you because I was worried I'd accidentally offend you, feeling like the ground is shifting under my feet. I didn't realize I was coming across that way. Oh, you weren't mean or anything, just kind of guarded, but this week you've seemed more open to conversation. It's made me realize how much I'd like to collaborate with you more. Leave his office in a daze. He's supposed to be the worst one. Instead, he's telling me that my defensive attitude was making him uncomfortable. Lunchtime, decide to go back to the sandwich shop. Tyler is working again. Hi, Tyler. How's your day going? His face lights up when he sees me. Virginia, hey, great to see you again. Day's going well, thanks for asking. Same as yesterday? Actually, could you recommend something? I trust your judgment. Absolutely. You seem like you'd like the Italian sub. Want me to make it exactly how I think you'd enjoy it? Nodding, watching him work. He's clearly putting extra care into the sandwich. So, I've been thinking about our conversation yesterday. You mentioned being a data analyst, right? That must be really interesting work. It can be. What made you think about that? I'm actually taking some night classes in statistics. Maybe someday I could pick your brain about career paths in that field. He's asking for professional advice, not trying to hit on me. Of course, I'd be happy to help however I can. That's so generous of you. Most people in professional jobs wouldn't take time to talk to someone working food service. Tyler, that's ridiculous. You're clearly intelligent and motivated. Your career path doesn't determine your worth as a person. He stops making the sandwich and looks at me directly. Thank you for saying that. Seriously, I've been feeling pretty discouraged lately about whether I'll ever break into a more analytical field. Having someone with experience tell me I'm on the right track means a lot. Finished the interaction feeling even more confused. He was supposed to interpret my friendliness as romantic interest. Instead, he's treating me like a mentor and genuinely appreciating my encouragement. Friday, last day of the experiment. Decide to push it to the absolute limit. Going to be almost absurdly accommodating and see what happens. Coffee shop one final time. John is working, but there's a different energy today. Good morning, John. You seem happier today. I am. My sister got some good news about her health yesterday. The doctors think she's turning a corner. John, that's wonderful. I'm so happy for you and your family. Thank you. And Virginia, I wanted to tell you something. He finishes making my coffee but doesn't hand it to me yet. This week, having genuinely positive interactions with you has reminded me that there are still good people in the world. I was starting to get pretty cynical, but you've been consistently kind without wanting anything in return. That's rare. Feeling a strange tightness in my chest. John, you've been kind too. I try to be, but I'll be honest. Your attitude this week has made me want to be even better. When someone treats you with real respect, it makes you want to deserve it. Hands me the coffee, our fingers brush briefly. Instead of making it weird, he just smiles warmly. I hope you have an amazing day, Virginia. Thank you for making this week better. Walking to work, emotions swirling. This is completely opposite of what was supposed to happen. Where's the toxic masculinity? The condescension? The assumption that kindness equals weakness? Get to office, final test. Going to our department's Friday afternoon meeting. Going to be maximally cooperative and see if the men try to dominate or take credit for my ideas. Meeting starts. Martin asks for updates on various projects. Raise my hand. I'd love to share an update on the client retention analysis. Steve provided some excellent insights that really strengthened the approach. Steve looks shocked that I'm giving him credit. Actually, Virginia's initial framework was brilliant. I just added some minor suggestions. Back and forth continues, with each of us genuinely building on each other's ideas. David jumps in. This is exactly the kind of collaboration that makes our team strong. Virginia, your willingness to incorporate feedback has made this project much better than any of us could have done alone. Meeting ends with multiple people thanking each other. Martin approaches me afterward. Virginia, I have to say, your collaborative spirit this week has been incredible. The whole team dynamic feels more positive. Thank you, Martin. I've been trying to focus more on building people up rather than trail off. Not sure how to finish that sentence. Rather than what? Pause. Realizing I'm about to admit that my usual approach is more confrontational, rather than always looking for problems, I guess. Well, whatever shift you've made, it's working. You've always been talented, but this week you've seemed more approachable. It's brought out the best in everyone. walk back to my desk in a complete mental fog, sit down and stare at my computer screen. Every single prediction I had was wrong. Men didn't interpret my kindness as weakness. They appreciated it. They didn't become condescending. They became more respectful. They didn't try to take advantage. They tried to give back. Start typing up notes from the experiment. Hands are actually shaking as I write. Hypothesis: men will respond negatively to women being accommodating and polite. Results: every single interaction was positive. Men responded with increased respect, kindness, and genuine appreciation. Stare at the words on my screen. Everything I thought I knew about male behavior is crumbling. But maybe this is just a fluke. Maybe these particular men are unusually decent. Decide I need to process this with someone. Call my friend Jessica. Tell her about the week. So, wait, she says. You were nice to men for 5 days and they were nice back. It's more complicated than that. Is it though? Virginia, maybe the problem isn't men being terrible. Maybe the problem is you assuming they will be. Hang up feeling even more agitated. Saturday morning, can't stop thinking about the experiment. Decide to extend it one more day to see if the results hold. Go to a different coffee shop across town, one where no one knows me. Male barista, early 20s, looks tired. Order coffee politely, make pleasant small talk. He brightens up, becomes more attentive. Thanks me for being friendly, says most customers barely acknowledge him. Refuses to accept a tip, says my kindness was tip enough. Go to a bookstore, ask male employee for help finding something. He spends 20 minutes helping me, recommends additional books, never once mansplains or talks down to me. Genuinely interested in my thoughts about different authors. Grocery store, need help reaching something high. Ask male shopper nearby if he could help. He immediately assists, asks if I need help with anything else. When I say no, he just smiles and wishes me well. No weird comments, no expectation of gratitude beyond basic politeness. Sitting in my car after the grocery store, having what I can only describe as an existential crisis. Every single interaction has contradicted everything I believed about men. They haven't been condescending, pushy, or dismissive. They've been helpful, respectful, and appreciative. Drive home and spend the rest of Saturday in bed, staring at the ceiling. Mind racing through every interaction from the past week. John's gratitude for basic kindness. Tyler's professional aspirations and genuine appreciation for encouragement. Steve's admission that my defensive attitude made him nervous. Martin's observation that my collaborative approach brought out the best in everyone. Sunday morning, wake up with a horrible realization. What if the problem isn't men being terrible? What if the problem is me expecting them to be terrible and treating them accordingly? Start thinking back to previous interactions. How many times did I interrupt men in meetings, assuming they were mansplaining? How many times did I respond defensively to neutral comments? How many times did I interpret ordinary social interactions as microaggressions? The more I think about it, the more examples I remember. Robert, from accounting, trying to make small talk in the elevator, me responding with cold silence. John at the coffee shop, trying to be friendly, me treating him like he was probably a creep. Tyler asking genuine questions about his career, me assuming he had ulterior motives. Sit down at my laptop and start writing, not notes about the experiment, but a brutally honest assessment of my own behavior. How many positive interactions did I miss because I was looking for problems? How many good men did I treat poorly because I assumed they were bad? How many times did my defensive attitude create the exact tension I was complaining about? The answers are devastating. Probably hundreds of interactions over the years. Countless opportunities to connect with decent people, wasted because I was convinced they were enemies. Monday morning, back to the coffee shop. John is working, smiles when he sees me. Good morning, Virginia. How was your weekend? Suddenly overwhelmed with guilt about how I used to treat him. John, can I ask you something? Of course. Before this week, when I used to come in here, was I rude to you? He looks uncomfortable. You weren't rude exactly, more like all business. You seemed like you didn't want to chat, so I tried to respect that. But did it feel unfriendly? Long pause. Sometimes, yeah. I always wondered if I'd done something to upset you, but I figured maybe you were just having bad mornings, feeling sick to my stomach. John, I owe you an apology. I wasn't having bad mornings. I had some wrong assumptions about men in general, and I treated you badly because of it. He looks genuinely shocked. Virginia, you don't need to apologize. Everyone has off days. No, it wasn't off days. It was every day. For months, you were always polite to me, and I was cold to you because I assumed you had bad intentions. Tears starting to form in my eyes. I'm really sorry. You deserved better than that. He reaches across the counter and gently touches my arm. Hey, it's okay. We all make assumptions sometimes. The important thing is that you recognized it and you're trying to do better. His kindness in the face of my admission makes me start crying harder. You're being too nice about this. I was wrong. Virginia, look at me. You've been nothing but kind this week. People change. People grow. I'm not holding any grudges, okay? Walk to work, crying, mascara, running. Everything I thought I understood about gender dynamics is completely backwards. Men aren't my enemies. They're just people trying to get through their days, hoping for positive interactions. Get to office, go straight to bathroom to clean up my face, stare at myself in the mirror, think about all the male colleagues I've been suspicious of, dismissive toward, argumentative with. How many of them were just trying to do their jobs and be friendly? Walk out to the main office area, see Steve at his desk, remember his comment about feeling nervous talking to me. Walk over to him. Steve, do you have a minute? Sure, Virginia. What's up? I wanted to apologize for making you feel nervous about talking to me. That wasn't fair. He looks surprised. Oh, you don't need to apologize for that. I do, though. I've been thinking about what you said about me seeming like I was waiting for you to say something wrong. That must have been really uncomfortable. He shifts in his chair, clearly not expecting this conversation. Well, I understood that you were passionate about certain issues. I just wasn't always sure how to navigate that. Steve, can I be completely honest with you? Of course. I was waiting for you to say something wrong. I had this assumption that men in the workplace were probably going to be sexist or condescending, so I was constantly on guard. But that wasn't fair to you. He's quiet for a long moment. Virginia, I appreciate you saying that. To be honest, it did make me feel like I was walking on eggshells sometimes, but I also understood why women might feel defensive in a male-dominated workplace. That's generous of you to say, but understanding doesn't make it okay. I should have given you the benefit of the doubt. We talk for another 10 minutes. He shares that he's always valued my analytical skills, but was often afraid to approach me with questions. Admits he's learned to be more thoughtful about workplace dynamics because of interactions with me, even the tense ones. Says he's glad we're having this conversation. Similar conversations with David, with Martin, with other male colleagues throughout the week. Each one revealing the same pattern. Decent men who felt like they were constantly being judged, who walked on eggshells around me, who appreciated the few times I was collaborative. By Friday, feeling emotionally drained but also strangely lighter. Realize that I've been carrying around this enormous burden of suspicion and defensiveness for years, constantly looking for slights, always ready for battle. Exhausting way to live. Coffee shop one last time that week. John behind the counter, as usual. How are you doing, Virginia? You've seemed kind of intense this week. I've been doing a lot of thinking about how I treat people. It's been educational. Good educational or bad educational. Necessary educational. John, I want you to know that you've taught me something important this week. Me? What could I possibly teach you? That kindness isn't weakness. That most people are just trying their best. That assumptions about entire groups of people are usually wrong. He smiles warmly. Those are good lessons, but I think you taught me something too. What's that? That people can change. That it's worth giving someone a second chance even if previous interactions were difficult. Start tearing up again. Thank you for being patient with me when I didn't deserve it. Virginia, everyone deserves patience and kindness, including you. Walking home that evening, reflecting on 2 weeks that completely changed my worldview, spent years convinced that men were the problem. Turns out I was creating many of the problems I was complaining about. My defensive attitude, my automatic suspicion, my readiness to interpret everything negatively. Doesn't mean sexism doesn't exist. Doesn't mean all men are perfect. but it means that treating individual men as if they're automatically guilty until proven innocent is wrong. It means that assuming the worst about people's intentions usually becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. Sit down that night and write a long reflection. What I learned from treating men with basic dignity. Document the entire experience. How every assumption I had was wrong. How kindness was met with kindness. How respect was returned with respect. How my previous approach had been creating the very dynamics I was fighting against. Think about sharing it, maybe posting it somewhere, but realize that the people who most need to hear this message are probably the least likely to listen, just like I wouldn't have listened 2 weeks ago. Monday morning, back to regular life, but with completely different perspective. Coffee shop. John smiles when he sees me. We chat briefly about his sister's recovery. Normal, pleasant human interaction between two people who treat each other with basic respect. Office, team meeting, contribute ideas, listen to others, build on suggestions. Notice how much better the group dynamic is when I'm not constantly on the defensive. Realize that collaboration produces better results than confrontation. Lunch at the sandwich shop. Tyler asks how my weekend was, tells me about his statistics class. We have a brief but genuine conversation about career development, normal mentorship interaction between two people in different stages of their professional lives. End of the day, reflecting on how much lighter everything feels, no longer carrying around anger and suspicion everywhere I go, no longer exhausted from constantly being on guard against slights that mostly existed in my imagination. Weeks pass, new patterns establish themselves. Better relationships with male colleagues, more productive collaborations, less stress from assuming everyone has bad intentions. Occasionally catch myself falling back into old patterns of suspicion, but now I recognize it happening. Can pause and ask, is this person actually being problematic, or am I looking for problems? Usually, it's the latter. 3 months later, John mentions that other regular customers have commented on the positive atmosphere at the coffee shop lately. Tyler got accepted into a data analytics certification program, partly because I wrote him a recommendation letter. Steve and I successfully collaborated on a major client project. Martin tells me that I've become one of the strongest team members because of my collaborative approach. Realize that my social experiment didn't just change how I see men, it changed how I see everything. People generally respond to how you treat them. If you approach interactions expecting the best, you usually get it. If you approach them expecting the worst, you usually get that too. Still believe in fighting actual injustice when I see it. Still speak up about real problems. But I've learned to distinguish between actual issues and problems I create through my own assumptions. Most importantly, I've learned that treating people with basic dignity isn't weakness or submission. It's just being human. And humans, regardless of gender, generally want the same things: respect, kindness, and the benefit of the doubt. Wish I could go back and undo years of defensive, suspicious interactions. But all I can do is move forward with better understanding. Treat each person as an individual rather than a representative of their demographic group. Assume good intentions until proven otherwise. Choose collaboration over confrontation when possible. The ironic thing is that this approach has made me more effective at addressing actual problems. When I do encounter real sexism or discrimination, people take it seriously because they know I'm not crying wolf. When I praise someone's work, it means something because they know I'm not just being polite. Realize that my original feminist goals, equality, respect, fair treatment, are actually better served by this approach. You can't build a better world through constant antagonism. You build it through treating people the way you want to be treated, regardless of their gender.